Welcome to Changing the Channel with Joe Garner, a show about shifting our individual and collective beliefs on what is possible for the future of humanity. As our understanding of how our reality continues to shift, we are at a point of reunification between science and spirituality. What does the world look like when we break free from the generational trauma that has kept most humans playing small for thousands of years and step into our full power as the co-creators of this reality? I always ask that you keep an open mind with this podcast. Ask yourself what resonates with my truth at this time and what does not. Respect your intuition, but see if you can get through the whole show because there might be that little nugget buried deep in the conversation that unlocks something for you. Welcome back to another episode of Changing the Channel. We have a fun one today. I am joined by Rachel Fiorentino. She is a renowned tarot card reader with 30 years of experience. She's down-to-earth, intuitive reader that wants to share her talents and help you on your best possible path. She uses her skills as a business manager, nurse, certified life coach, and certified law of attraction coach to explore the badassery you can have in your life. So welcome to the show, Rachel. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Joe. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one. Just a heads up, we're going to pull some cards for the planet, see what comes about. But before we get into that, walk us through a little bit of your journey from, 30 years ago coming into tarot, and how has that evolved? What was that process like?
Yeah, so I'd always been one of those little kids that was always fascinated by the occult. I would be studying symbology and mythology and studying palmistry. I would try to check out the books from the library, but I used to always get so mad because those books were only allowed to get checked out for 3 days. And my mom was like, "We're not going to be at the library back in 3 days. So you can't check them out." And I was always so upset. So I think I was just probably born with this natural gift to be able to just try to learn more and more about this side of the world. About 16, I was given my first tarot deck and just fell in love and just tried to study and learn all I can. And it's still the same deck that I use today.
Oh, wow.
And about 18 years old, I became a professional and was doing all the psychic fairs and metaphysical shops and have just been loving it ever since. One thing I kind of noticed as I was doing the fairs and just going along to everything is that there was great psychics out there and great readers, but it always felt like they didn't necessarily guide you to help you along your path. It was more of like, this is what I see for you. And then the reading would be done. And I was always kind of left like feeling there was one more step, one more that we can do other than just looking at the future. So that's when I started combining more of like the life coaching aspect and the law of attraction aspect of being able to combine those to be able to go, okay, is this what you want for your future? The future is malleable. It's variables. It can do many great things, but it's not set in stone. So how do we change it to the future we want? And that's when I started doing the life coaching to be able to go, okay, in the cards, I can see that this is the future where we're heading. And then we can decide together, is that what you like? Is that what you want? Is that the future that is the greatest good for you? If not, let's move to the present again and try to figure out exactly how do we change the present to get you to the future you do want. And I think from then, everything has just kind of exploded with those combinations. So I do like to use a lot of like Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell connections and do more of like the psychiatry connections, and as opposed to a lot of like the psychic power. So that's why I kind of call myself more of that intuitive, to be able to kind of do everything, use the cards on the here and now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fascinating. That is, I have not heard of anybody kind of using the tarot cards to see what the future holds for the present and then coming back to the present and saying, okay, let's change the present. I want to take a minute from the show to share how you can support Changing the Channel. This show is my passion project, and if you feel called to support, the best place to start is by subscribing and sharing the podcast on whatever platform you're listening. You can also use the link in the show description to provide one-time or monthly support. Next would be to check out my website in the show notes, where you can become a VIP of the show and check out the many offerings I have to support people on their journey. Finally, you can engage with the Q&A and polls to have a direct say in the direction of the show. I'm forever thankful for your support. And now, back to the show. And that's kind of the path that we have for humanity right now, is that we can see what the future looks like. And for a lot of people, that future doesn't look all roses and sunshine and rainbows. It does look a little bit chaotic. It looks a little bit scary. It definitely, there are changes that are coming, and we can definitely see that in the future. But
Absolutely.
what I think a lot of people are missing is that, each one of us has a choice today to, if we can either believe that we're on this train track of linear time and we are always going to be heading to that future no matter what, or we can become the conscious co-creators and we can change the direction that train is moving. We can move towards a different future. And is that future going to be without pain and suffering and hard choices and all of that? Probably not. I mean, it wouldn't be life without a little bit of chaos, a little bit of craziness.
Ups and downs.
Exactly. But do we want to move towards a future that's a little bit more maybe distributed, a little bit more decentralized, a little bit more kind of autonomy with each individual, instead of it being this collective future that is created by a very small group of beings that have a great amount of power? And
yes, exactly.
That is the future that I would like to be moving towards, and I think most people would probably agree, given those two choices. And then there's 1,000 different pathways in between those two choices that we each get to kind of choose and pick and decide which one we want to move towards. So
absolutely. And the cards can also help to, during those bumps and bruises stages and that growth stage. Okay, well, how do we protect ourselves during that time, or how do we lessen the pain as we kind of go through them? Because the pain is inevitable, but the suffering is not.
Right. And that's a key, is understanding that you're going to have ups and downs, but it's how you react or how you respond to those ups and downs that are going to create either suffering or acceptance. And
exactly.
Yeah, so that's really cool that you're working with your clients and using the cards to kind of as waypoints, as like signposts. And that's kind of how I've always used psychic readings and any type of, metaphysical futuristic readings. It's like, okay, here's the path that I'm on. Do I like that path? And then I can kind of choose and decide, okay, I could get down with that. I would enjoy that. Or that's not a path that I want to be going down, and then let's make new decisions. Let's change course.
Yeah. And I like to call those the universal 2x4s, where the universe smacks us up across the head and it's all like, oh, you're going the wrong direction. So, And so when we see those 2x4s, and we can all know that, and I gone through way too many of those myself, but we get smacked upside the head and we're like, okay, there we go. I'm going to start moving that different direction, which is great to be able to see, but the reasons why you got smacked in the face sometimes.
Right. So let's get into a reading. Let's pull some cards. And again, I think the intention for today is, let's see what is the path that humanity is on right now, so that we can make some decisions in the current moment and decide, is this the path we want to be going down, or should we be making different decisions and different choices?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that this reading could be a little heavy, kind of depending, since a lot has gone on this week in the world.
Yeah.
But so for our past, so the past world is this Mother of Stones. So Mother of Stones is, Mother Earth, correct? It's that grounded energy. It's this lovely, engrossing energy that can just talk about love, and we just feel so coated in this earthy energy. And that's what she's been giving to us for now. Right now, we've got the moon card for our present. So the present is kind of showing that, yeah, it's time to get that elevated intuition, that elevated connectedness with the universe, not just with our Mother Earth, but now that moving forward to that connectedness within each other as well as the universe, trying to kind of get that on that expansive side. But the moon is all about that intuition and that psychic power and the watery goodness that all kind of comes out of that. So it's that expansive energy that we're kind of looking at. And I think right now we're looking at that, especially what has happened with the between Israel and Hamas right now, that it's the idea of, we're having to reach out in a greater side of things versus just within ourselves or within our own homes or our own bodies, but on that larger scale. For future wise, we've got that Son of Swords. So the Son of Swords is the idea that they're cutting through some junk that doesn't need to be here anymore. It's taking us to be able to go and start slashing some things that are no longer needed in this world. So slashing that hate and that ugliness, that side that we just can't keep in this world anymore. We've got to start getting rid of it. The Son of Swords is a great leader that is also the Son of Swords is represented by Osiris. So Osiris is his brother was the one that separated him into many, many pieces. So by having many pieces throughout the world, we're trying to bring all those pieces back in together. So not only are we trying to slash what we don't need, but we're trying to bring all those pieces back together to make us all whole. So I think we've got a lot of work to do because these are some pretty heavy hitting cards that we need to start working on. But if we can start getting rid of some of the junk we don't need, both, emotionally, mentally, all that, and we can put the good pieces back together. So Carl Jung calls that the theory of individuation, where we're putting all of these pieces back together that can make us whole, but as well as by us being kind of the channel for change, by us being able to do that first, we can start being that guide and that representative that everybody else can start changing as well, and everybody else can kind of join and get on board. So it's looking like we're also having to be some pretty strong leaders in this world, which is a big representation of what we need to be doing and how we're needing to focus on everything, and we all need to get our butts in gear.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, a couple of things kind of come through with that reading. Again, the past I think is spot on, and I think the past represents we are always held by the earth. Like the Mother Earth is always holding us, is always helping us and trying to keep us going. But oftentimes she's got to put that 2x4 up to our heads a little bit and say, hey, let's try another direction here.
Yeah.
The intuition, the moon, I think that's very important for people. And this is the second, maybe third podcast in the last 2 weeks where intuition has been a big focus, is understanding that in order to navigate the waters of these turbulent times, in order to navigate the great changes that are coming, both technologically, within governments, within structure systems, within kind of every aspect of our society, these massive changes that are coming, tuning into your intuition allows you to see what's coming and make the choice that is best for you. Maybe not best for everyone, but the choice that's best for you, and finding out, okay, I see the headwinds, I see the waves that are coming. Here's where I'm going to make the best use out of them. And some of us are going to be standing on surfboards and riding those waves and being the leaders that need to be on the planet. Other ones are going to be duck diving and getting under the water and just avoiding as much chaos as possible. Other ones are here to be kind of splashed around in the
Mhm.
whitewater and taken for a quite a ride. But in
Yeah.
that ride, when they pop up, they're stronger, they're better, they have a better perspective of
Mhm.
the next wave that does come. And okay, I didn't work out sitting in this position, but maybe if I moved over here, I'd be able
Mhm.
to take this next wave that's coming and have a better opportunity. So
Yeah.
I think tapping into our intuition again, using meditation, using prayer,
Mhm.
using any type of receptive meditation that allows you to quiet the mind a little bit and be able to
Mhm.
tap into that knowing that's already
Mhm.
inside of you is going to be key in the next couple of months, the next couple of years, and the best way
Absolutely.
to cultivate that understanding is definitely doing it during the calm times. It's
Yeah.
a lot harder
Mhm.
to tap into your intuition or to learn how to tap into your intuition when you're in the
You're
thick of things, when you're getting
yeah.
thrown around by those waves.
Yeah. When you're in survival mode. Yeah.
Right. And then
Mhm.
yeah, the leaders, the parts that
Mhm.
need to come together. The vision that I kind of got was all of these old religions and wisdoms and philosophies that have been
Mhm.
scattered across the world. They're all coming together, and that's what technology, that's what the internet is allowing us to do, is to take all these ideas that were spread out across the world and as a society, as a global society, bring them all back together and
Mhm.
pick out the ones that all work together. Again, 80-90% of these philosophies, religions, spiritual teachings are basically saying the same thing. They're just saying them in a different language
Different.
with a
Mhm.
different perspective, with a little bit of a different background in what they're saying. But the underlying message behind all of them is the same: is that you know we're all fundamentally the same energy. We're all fundamentally in this
Mhm.
field of energy, and you have control over that field. You have the ability, when you raise your consciousness, to affect the field that we all exist in and to raise the vibration of that collective field so that other people feel that raised vibration. And then again,
Yeah.
treating others as if they are you, because they are you. There
Mhm.
is no separation between my energy and your energy. It's just
Correct.
refracted from a different lens, a different perspective. So I really love
Exactly.
I love that reading. I love that we were able to
Mhm.
kind of get into that, and
Yeah.
it feels like a future that is coming, that
Mhm.
is going to be a part of what we're going to experience over
Mhm.
who knows what the time frame is.
Right, right. The universe has a funny way of time versus us humans want to have physical like minutes and days and stuff, but the universe is like, nah, when you're ready, you'll have the next step.
Right, exactly. So
Okay.
it could be 3 years if we all kick
Mhm.
into gear and
Yeah.
really start to meditate and collapse the separation consciousness that's on the planet. It
Yeah.
could be a decade or two, who knows? But
Yeah. Yeah.
just preparing and being ready and making sure that
Yeah.
you have everything in order for yourself, your group, and then
Mhm.
continuing to move that out. And again, those great leaders, they're going to be doing this for thousands or tens of
Yeah.
thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. You're going to have these great guides that are sharing wisdom and sharing information and trying to move people
Mhm.
towards this more beautiful, more harmonious future.
Yeah. And I do feel, despite this week and what's going to be coming here, but I do feel really optimistic about our world and about what is changing and how more and more we're embracing the meditation and the yoga. And, I was just thinking to myself that I remember back in the day when yoga was this like woo woo thing that was really far out there. And now I think almost everybody practices yoga, or they should at least. But, so I cannot wait to see how much more we can make other things a little bit more mainstream, or just normalize connecting with our intuition, or normalizing connecting with our own bodies, normalizing connecting with the different aspects of leadership and our consciousness. It'll
Hmm.
be exciting to start seeing those combined again.
Yeah, exactly. Coming back together, the remembering of our, multi-dimensional, multi-aspect body.
Yeah.
Matthias de Stefano talks a lot about
Yes.
that remembering, which I think is
Hmm.
a beautiful concept.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So,
Love it.
what do you feel? How do you feel about what the future looks like? You're working with clients. You're working with
Hmm.
the cards every day. I mean, is this somewhat representative, or again, you're pretty optimistic about it? But what is your
Yeah.
perspective?
Well, and it's neat to see when you've been doing something for 30 years, you can really see how at 30 years, I would be attracting clients that are really about a lot of probably more like job related or um, more mundane kind of questions that would come. And as I've been reading, more and more people are getting on that higher spiritual level, or like, what is my path in life versus like, what job should I get?
Mm-hmm.
So the clients' questions are changing. And as they're doing that, you start realizing, oh, if all of these clients are changing and kind of getting more towards on their path, on their spiritual journey, on the purpose, on what they're supposed to do, you start realizing that we're elevating so much more in just in the last 30 years since I've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure that has to do with me also elevating, and I'm attracting more elevated people as well. But that's exciting that we're all kind of blending and growing together and being able to keep reaching for higher journeys and reaching for higher um, points of views and how we're changing not just ourselves, but we're also changing the rest of the world as well. So that's why I think I'm so much more optimistic in the world is I see my clients being so amazing and so intense on their journeys that I know that we're still at the beginnings of this. So more and more people are just going to get deeper and deeper into where we're going to be growing.
Right. Now, an idea that I've heard a couple times and I've discussed with a few people is that there's going to be another wave. So I think,
Mm-hmm.
2020 was a pretty big wave of people who were awakening to the higher aspects of themselves, me included. Um, that there's going to be another wave and it's going to be even bigger,
I feel that. Yeah.
hundreds of millions, maybe even more than that,
Hmm.
all kind of going through this process all at the same time. So what do you think that kind of starts to look like as, I think we've had a couple million, maybe 5 million, 10 million,
Hmm.
20 million people kind of going through this process and going through this awakening process all at the same time
Hmm.
at one particular time. What does that look like when it's 5 or 10 or 20 fold larger than that?
I think this is just going to raise everybody up so much, um, just on such a high intensity that I think we're going to be able to start healing more people and healing more of the earth, healing each other, and being able to connect on such higher levels than we've ever imagined. And I think that's all part of it, right? Is that as humans, we want to connect, we want to be part of one another. And so as we develop that, that's just only going to get deeper and deeper. And with that deepness comes more of that healing that we've all been kind of needing, especially I think we've been needing more healing in the last few years, that I think we're going to be able to do that on such deeper levels, and not just healing from hospitals and doctors, those type of things, but healing all of our trauma, healing all of our junk that we hold on to that we can just start releasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited because you see the statistics of these the newer and newer generations are moving away from churches and moving away from set doctrines laid out by religion. But what they're doing is they're becoming more and more spiritual, though. They might not be religious, but they're getting more and more spiritual. So by being able to bring that into play as well, of this spiritualness of not needing um, certain levels um, of religion, that we can all start getting into a deeper level again of more of that healing.
Right. And I think that that process has happened. I think the process of the churches going through that kind of de-democratization, or
Mm-hmm.
basically making it a very top-down approach,
Mm-hmm.
happened for a reason. There was a fallen consciousness. They knew the fallen consciousness was coming, so they wanted to kind of protect these ideas. But the people that have been protecting those ideas didn't understand that there was a time and a point when those had to get back out. That we had to
Mm-hmm.
release those spiritual ideas, these the foundations of what the religions were built on.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting it out there. um and I see the churches kind of transitioning as well. They are
Yeah.
also capable of going through a transition. And again, they're very, I would say they're a lot more conservative. So they
Mm-hmm.
they want to make sure that this is the right time before they do. But as they start to
Mm-hmm.
see society transitioning, as they start to see other people, other spiritual leaders, other beings that are um, living the way of the church, but not necessarily under the doctrines of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they'll start to see that, oh, this is, here's where we're moving towards. We don't have to be so as non-inclusive, as kind of shut off from the rest of the world. We can actually start to share our ideas and share
Mm-hmm.
our beliefs, and get that back out into the world. And some religions have jumped on board. Some religions are still kind of holding off. And again,
Mm-hmm.
it's all, from my perspective, it's all on, just like each one of us is here to learn lessons in this transition from different perspectives. Like each one of those churches, each is an energy, is a being, and those
Mm-hmm.
energies and beings are learning lessons from their perspective as well. So the more closed off that religion is during this time, the harder it's going to be when we do make this transition for them to come around. And then the quicker that different religions, just like different people, are able to open up to these new ideas, open up to these higher perspectives, these spiritual perspectives, the easier
Absolutely.
that this transition is going to be on them.
Yeah. And I think you made the perfect remark as far as like when it comes to the religion, everything has been like top down. And I think that's the way we're moving, is that we're moving from that bottom up.
Mm.
And I think, I think all of, including the cards have all brought that concept of like, yeah, individually we can do this and bring it to the masses versus a set few can bring it all to everybody else. And so I think that's a perfect way of saying that we're moving into a realm of a bottom up a
Mm-hmm.
kind of idea where the grouping, everybody who is on that higher level is going to be bringing it to the smaller group.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not having a base of 1 million or 5 million or 10 million. It's like each one of us has 5,000 or 10,000 people that we're helping develop, and we're broadcasting out, and we're sharing information. And yeah, I think that's a part
Mm-hmm.
of the shift away from the old world. You see a lot of people who are like, well, I need to get my first 1 million followers, or I need ten
Mm-hmm.
thousand views on this video. And it's that's the old
Mm-hmm.
world. That's just
Yeah.
that's what used to be. But
Mm-hmm.
in this new transition, as we move to, again, a little bit more decentralized, a little bit less top down, there it's
Yeah.
just going to be spread out in a much better fashion. And that's the way. There's always this balance between chaos and order, and the order being the
Mm-hmm.
top down approach, the chaos being absolutely no guardrails and no structure whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the middle way between those two, between the chaos and the order. And that's the balance that we have to try to walk. It's like, how much can we codify and define what this spirituality is without it losing the individuality of each person having to experience spirituality from a different perspective, from a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of, the more that we can share our journeys and attract those who resonate with that journey, who resonate with that information, who resonate with your readings versus somebody else's readings. Again, because people read cards in different manners. They have different interpretations. We're always bringing this information through our physical vessel, and it has a way of tinting or changing or putting that unique perspective on it, and each one of us has an opportunity to connect with a bunch of different beings that all kind of resonate at the similar frequency or at a similar understanding that we are at.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what's so great about so many people being elevated is that me as a reader can grab certain people that are attracted to the way I read, but another reader can grab other people that are attracted to that reader. But what we're doing is we're all elevating everybody up. It
Right.
doesn't matter which way, but we're all just moving upwards, which is great.
Yeah. A rising tide raises all boats.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
yeah, I love it.
Do you have anything else you want to share as far as readings go, as far as any intuitive hits that you're getting?
No, I would love for the world to all be readers. That would just be amazing since the cards can be utilized as a tool for anything and everything. And the tool can be to raise us up or to be able to help with our connections to our friends and family or to the world or what's going on or any questions that we have. So if we could all start reading, I'd be without a job, but I would still love it because it means that we're all utilizing everything that we can in this world. And when we're doing that for each other, there's nothing that can't stop us.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I love that message. If somebody wants a reading or to work with you as far as a coach, what's the best place to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach me on my website at tarotreadingsbyrachel.com, or of course anywhere on Instagram, Facebook at Tarot Readings by Rachel. And yeah, and hook me up and we can talk. And yeah, I do classes, I do readings, I do so many other things that to just be able to help elevate all of us.
Beautiful. I'll make sure I include those in the show notes. So if you guys are looking for any classes, readings, anything like that, Rachel is the gal for you. So I really appreciate this conversation, Rachel. That was wonderful. I hope to be in contact again and maybe have another reading in a few months and see where we're at as a planetary wide evolution.
I would love that. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Awesome. Take care.
You too.
Thank you again for listening to Changing the Channel with Joe Garner. If you enjoyed the show, please follow the podcast, hit the bell to know when a new show comes out, share with a friend, and rate us on whatever platform you're tuning in from. It helps get these messages out to more people to create the collective shift in reality we are here to experience. Make sure you interact with the Q&A and poll sections of the show so I can continue to provide content you enjoy. Finally, check out my website in the show notes to become a VIP of Changing the Channel and join the shift that is happening.